Words are among the most powerful tools that human beings possess. They serve as vehicles of expression, connection, and influence. From the earliest forms of communication to modern dialogue, words have shaped societies, cultures, and personal relationships. However, what is often overlooked is the subtle yet profound impact that words can have on our lives and the lives of others. When used consciously, words can uplift, heal, and inspire. When misused, they can wound, divide, and destroy. Therefore, controlling what we say, how we say it, and why we say it is an essential part of personal growth and emotional intelligence. The human mouth is not merely a physical opening through which words are spoken. It is an instrument that reflects our inner world. What comes out of our mouths often mirrors what is happening in our minds and hearts. When we are careless with our words, we are not only being careless with others, but also revealing a lack of discipline within ourselves. Communication that is reactive, impulsive, or laced with negativity can easily escalate situations, damage relationships, and create misunderstandings. Harsh words, once spoken, cannot be retracted. They can linger in the minds of others for years, creating wounds that are invisible yet deeply felt. Many conflicts, whether in personal relationships, workplaces, or communities, have their roots in words that were spoken in haste, anger, or frustration. Conversely, when we exercise mindfulness over our speech, we create spaces of respect, understanding, and peace. Words have the potential to de-escalate tensions, soothe anxieties, and build bridges where there were once walls. Kind, thoughtful, and encouraging speech can transform the dynamics of any conversation. Compliments, expressions of gratitude, and words of encouragement often cost us nothing, yet they have the power to make someone's day, boost their confidence, and motivate them toward positive actions. This demonstrates that the quality of our words can influence not only our own emotional state, but also the mental and emotional well-being of those around us. Self-control in speech is not about silence or avoidance. It is about intentional communication, speaking with awareness, purpose, and empathy. Before we speak, it is helpful to ask ourselves, is this necessary? Is this kind? Is this helpful? Does this need to be said right now, or can it wait? By pausing and reflecting before speaking, we can prevent many unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings. This pause also gives us the space to align our words with our values and long-term intentions, rather than being swept away by temporary emotions. It is also important to understand that our words are not only directed outward toward others, but also inward toward ourselves. Self-talk, the ongoing internal dialogue that we have with ourselves, plays a significant role in shaping our self-image, beliefs, and behaviors. Negative self-talk, such as constant criticism, self-doubt, or fear-based thinking, can erode our self-esteem and hold us back from pursuing our goals. On the other hand, positive self-affirmations, compassionate self-dialogue, and empowering statements can build resilience, increase motivation, and reinforce a healthy self-image. Thus, controlling our mouth includes being mindful of the words we speak internally, as well as externally. Moreover, words have a vibrational quality. Different studies in psychology and even quantum physics suggest that words carry energy that can affect our environment. Words of love, gratitude, and compassion create a positive vibration, while words of hatred, resentment, and fear create a negative one. This energy not only impacts the people directly involved, but can also influence the broader atmosphere of a room, a workplace, or a household. This is why cultures around the world emphasize the sacredness of words, the power of blessings, and the importance of speaking truthfully and kindly. Finally, the discipline of controlling our speech is a lifelong practice. It requires patience, self-awareness, and humility. There will be moments when we fail, when words slip out that we later regret. In those moments, the willingness to apologize, to acknowledge the impact of our words, and to learn from the experience is equally important. This humility allows us to grow and to continuously refine our communication skills. In summary, controlling our mouth is not merely about avoiding negative speech. It is about recognizing the immense creative and destructive power that lies within our words. It is about using this power wisely, with compassion, integrity, and purpose. By doing so, we cultivate not only healthier relationships with others, but also a more peaceful and harmonious relationship with ourselves. Emotions are a fundamental part of the human experience. They color our perceptions, influence our decisions, and play a central role in how we interact with the world around us. However, while emotions are natural and necessary, they can also become overwhelming and disruptive when left unchecked. This is why learning to manage one's mood is an essential life skill, often referred to as emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the capacity to recognize, understand, and regulate our own emotions, as well as to empathize with the emotions of others. Controlling our mood does not mean suppressing our feelings or pretending that they do not exist. Rather, it involves cultivating the ability to navigate emotions with awareness, responsibility, and balance. Mood, by its nature, is dynamic. It can shift rapidly based on external triggers such as stressful situations, difficult conversations, or unexpected challenges. When we allow our mood to dictate our actions without reflection, we risk making poor decisions, damaging relationships, and sabotaging our goals. For example, reacting in anger during a heated argument can result in hurtful words or actions that create lasting harm. Similarly, allowing feelings of sadness or frustration to dominate our day can reduce productivity, impair judgment, and erode motivation. The key to mood management is recognizing that while we may not always control the events that trigger our emotions, we can control how we respond to those emotions. This begins with self-awareness, the ability to notice what we are feeling in the present moment. By becoming observers of our own emotional state, we create a space between stimulus and response. In this space, we can choose how to act, rather than simply reacting impulsively. This skill can be strengthened through practices such as mindfulness, meditation, or reflective journaling, which help anchor us in the present and increase our awareness of internal experiences. Once we are aware of our mood, the next step is regulation, learning strategies to manage emotions in healthy and constructive ways. For example, when experiencing anger, taking a few deep breaths, stepping away from the situation, or engaging in physical activity can help diffuse the intensity of the emotion before it leads to regrettable actions. When feeling overwhelmed by sadness, reaching out to a trusted friend, practicing self-compassion, or engaging in a creative activity can provide comfort and perspective. The goal is not to erase the emotion, but to move through it in a way that honors the feeling without allowing it to control us. Empathy also plays a crucial role in mood management. By understanding that others experience emotions just as we do, we can develop greater patience and compassion in our interactions. When we are mindful of our own moods, we are less likely to project them onto others or misinterpret their behaviors based on our emotional state. This reduces misunderstandings and fosters more harmonious relationships. Emotional intelligence, therefore, is not only a personal skill but a social one, enhancing our ability to connect, collaborate, and resolve conflicts effectively. Additionally, managing our mood is essential for maintaining mental health and well-being. Persistent negative moods such as chronic anger, anxiety, or sadness can contribute to stress, related illnesses, sleep disturbances, and weakened immune function. By developing healthy emotional coping mechanisms, we protect both our mental and physical health. This is why mood regulation is often emphasized in stress management and resilience building programs. People who can skillfully navigate their emotional landscape tend to bounce back from setbacks more quickly, maintain clearer focus under pressure, and experience greater overall life satisfaction. It is important to remember that controlling our mood is an ongoing practice. Emotions are complex and often unpredictable. There will be days when managing our feelings feels effortless and others when it feels like an uphill battle. On those difficult days, self-compassion becomes essential. Acknowledging our struggles without judgment allows us to approach mood management as a journey rather than a destination. We learn from every emotional experience and gradually build a toolkit of strategies that support emotional balance. In conclusion, controlling our mood is a cornerstone of personal development and emotional intelligence. It empowers us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It strengthens our relationships, supports our mental and physical health, and allows us to engage with the world from a place of clarity and calmness. By investing time and effort into developing emotional awareness and regulation skills, we cultivate inner strength that enables us to navigate life's challenges with grace, patience, and resilience. Money is often regarded as a tool of exchange, but in reality, it is much more than that. It is a reflection of our habits, values, and self-discipline. How we manage our money can either become a source of freedom or a cause of stress and anxiety. Financial discipline is not about hoarding wealth or depriving oneself of enjoyment. Rather, it is about developing a balanced, mindful relationship with money that allows us to meet our needs, plan for the future, and make informed decisions aligned with our goals and priorities. One of the key aspects of financial discipline is understanding that money must be handled with intention. Many people fall into the trap of emotional spending, where purchases are made impulsively to satisfy temporary desires or to cope with negative emotions such as boredom, stress, or sadness. While these purchases might bring short-term gratification, they often lead to long-term financial strain. Recognizing this pattern is crucial. By developing self-awareness around our spending habits, we can begin to distinguish between wants and needs, and we can pause to reflect before making unnecessary purchases. Budgeting is an essential tool in practicing financial discipline. A budget is more than just a list of income and expenses. It is a financial plan that provides structure and clarity to our monetary activities. By setting clear limits on spending categories, we create boundaries that help prevent overspending and ensure that essentials such as bills, savings, and investments are prioritized. A well-designed budget also allows for flexibility, giving space for enjoyment and leisure while ensuring that such expenses do not compromise financial security. Another critical element of financial discipline is saving. Saving is often overlooked in favor of immediate consumption, but it plays a vital role in creating stability and resilience. An emergency fund, for example, acts as a safety net during unforeseen circumstances such as job loss, medical emergencies, or unexpected repairs. Knowing that we have savings set aside for such situations reduces anxiety and provides a sense of control over our financial well-being. Additionally, saving for long-term goals such as education, retirement, or travel gives us something to work toward, motivating us to make wise financial choices in the present. Investment is also a form of financial discipline that requires education, patience, and planning. Rather than letting money sit idle or be consumed by inflation, disciplined individuals seek ways to grow their wealth through informed investments. This could include stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or real estate, depending on one's knowledge, goals, and risk tolerance. The key here is consistency and a long-term perspective, rather than chasing quick returns or speculative ventures that may lead to significant losses. Debt management is another area where financial discipline is indispensable. While not all debt is inherently bad, such as loans for education or business reckless borrowing, particularly for non-essential consumption, can lead to a cycle of financial entrapment. High interest debt, such as credit card balances, can quickly accumulate and become overwhelming. Therefore, disciplined individuals prioritize repaying debts responsibly, avoiding unnecessary borrowing, and maintaining a healthy credit score. This opens doors to better financial opportunities in the future, such as favorable loan terms or investment prospects. Practicing financial discipline also involves setting clear financial goals. Without goals, money management becomes aimless and it is easy to lose focus. Setting short-term, medium-term, and long-term financial objectives gives purpose to our efforts. These goals act as a roadmap, helping us track progress and make adjustments as needed, whether it is saving for a home, planning a family vacation, or preparing for retirement. Having specific targets keeps us motivated and accountable. Moreover, financial discipline is closely tied to our mindset and attitudes toward money. Scarcity thinking, fear of lack, or unhealthy beliefs about wealth can hinder our ability to manage money wisely. Cultivating an abundance mindset, where we view money as a resource to be managed responsibly rather than feared or hoarded, creates a healthier relationship with finances. It also encourages generosity. As disciplined individuals understand the importance of sharing their resources through charity or community support, without compromising their own financial security. In conclusion, financial discipline is a skill that empowers individuals to take control of their money rather than being controlled by it. It involves conscious spending, consistent saving, responsible debt management, and thoughtful investing. By practicing these habits, we reduce financial stress, build security, and create opportunities for a more fulfilling and purpose-driven life. Financial discipline is not about restriction, it is about freedom. The freedom to live within our means, to pursue our dreams, and to support ourselves and others with confidence and dignity. The mind is the command center of our lives. It shapes our perceptions, governs our actions, and creates the framework through which we interpret the world. Mastering the mind is, therefore, one of the most essential aspects of personal development and overall well-being. Yet, despite its central role, the mind is often left unchecked, allowing negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, and mental clutter to dominate our inner world. Mastery of the mind is not about silencing thoughts, but about cultivating awareness, focus, and intentional thinking. It is about guiding the mind rather than being led by it. Our minds are naturally active, generating thousands of thoughts each day. Many of these thoughts arise unconsciously, influenced by past experiences, societal conditioning, and environmental stimuli. Left on autopilot, the mind can become a breeding ground for fear, anxiety, doubt, and negativity. This is not because the mind is inherently flawed, but because it is designed to scan for threats and protect us from harm. In the absence of real danger, it often creates imagined problems, leading to unnecessary worry and mental fatigue. Recognizing this tendency is the first step toward mental mastery. To master the mind, one must first develop self-awareness, the ability to observe thoughts without immediately reacting to them. This can be achieved through mindfulness practices, such as meditation, deep breathing, or simply pausing throughout the day to check in with one's mental state. When we observe our thoughts objectively, we begin to see patterns, certain triggers that provoke fear, thoughts that spiral into catastrophizing, or beliefs that limit our sense of possibility. This observation allows us to separate ourselves from our thoughts, understanding that we are not our thoughts, we are the awareness behind them. Once we cultivate this awareness, the next step is conscious thought management. This involves actively choosing which thoughts to nurture and which to challenge or release. Negative or self-defeating thoughts, if left unchecked, can become mental habits that color our world, view, and influence our behavior. For example, a recurring thought such as "I am not good enough" can lead to self-sabotage, avoidance of opportunities, and diminished self-esteem. By recognizing this thought, questioning its validity, and replacing it with an empowering affirmation, such as "I am capable and deserving of success," we begin to rewire our mental patterns. This process is known as cognitive reframing and is a powerful tool for mental mastery. Another crucial element in mastering the mind is focus management. In a world filled with distractions, social media, constant notifications, and endless streams of information, the ability to focus the mind has become a rare but invaluable skill. Training the mind to focus on one task, one goal, or one intention at a time enhances productivity, creativity, and inner peace. Techniques such as time blocking, single tasking, and digital detoxing support the cultivation of focus. When the mind is focused, it becomes a sharp, clear instrument capable of deep work and meaningful insights. Furthermore, gratitude and positive thinking are vital practices in the art of mind control. By intentionally directing our thoughts toward what is working in our lives, what we are grateful for, and what brings us joy, we shift our mental state from scarcity to abundance. This not only improves our emotional well-being, but also strengthens resilience. A mind trained to see possibilities rather than obstacles becomes an ally in overcoming challenges and pursuing personal growth. It is also important to acknowledge that mastering the mind is not about forcing positivity or denying difficult emotions. It is about allowing all thoughts and feelings to arise while choosing to engage constructively with them. Emotional and mental mastery go hand in hand. When we understand the messages behind our emotions and direct our thoughts with compassion and clarity, we create a harmonious internal environment. Additionally, mental mastery involves protecting the mind from unnecessary clutter and negativity. This includes being mindful of the content we consume. News, entertainment, conversations, and social media, like food for the body, what we feed the mind influences its health and performance. Choosing uplifting, educational, and inspiring content supports mental clarity and positivity, while excessive exposure to negativity, gossip, or fear-based media can cloud the mind and erode mental peace. In conclusion, mastering the mind is an ongoing journey that requires patience, discipline, and daily practice. It is about developing self-awareness, managing thought patterns, nurturing focus, and cultivating positivity. A mastered mind does not react impulsively, but responds thoughtfully. It does not dwell in fear, but operates from a place of calm confidence. When we gain control over our minds, we gain control over our lives, empowering ourselves to create the reality we desire with intention, clarity, and purpose. Holistic self-control is the integration of various aspects of personal discipline into a unified approach toward balanced living. It is the understanding that areas such as speech, emotions, finances, and thought processes are not isolated. Rather, they are interconnected and influence one another in profound ways. When we attempt to control only one dimension of our life while neglecting others, we may find ourselves imbalanced, leading to stress, frustration, or self-sabotage. Holistic self-control emphasizes the synergy between controlling our mouth, mood, money, and mind, fostering an aligned and purposeful existence. To fully appreciate the value of holistic self-control, it is essential to recognize that each of these domains serves as both a mirror and a trigger for the others. For example, uncontrolled emotions can easily manifest in harmful speech, which may damage relationships or reputation. Poor financial decisions are often rooted in unmanaged emotions or faulty thinking patterns. Similarly, an undisciplined mind can weaken our ability to regulate our moods, leading to impulsive behaviors and unwise spending. Therefore, focusing on one area while ignoring others is like tending to a single branch while neglecting the roots of a tree. The mouth, as the expression of our inner world, is a powerful reflection of our thoughts and emotions. When we develop awareness of our speech, we are also becoming aware of the internal states that give rise to it. Negative self-talk, gossip, or impulsive comments are often symptoms of an unsettled mind or turbulent emotions. Thus, practicing mindful speech not only improves communication, but also enhances our emotional and mental awareness. By speaking with intention, clarity, and kindness, we create harmony within and around us. Similarly, our mood or emotional state is intricately connected to our thoughts and behaviors. When we are in a state of anger, sadness, or fear, we are more likely to engage in reckless spending, lash out verbally, or fall into mental loops of negativity. Emotional intelligence teaches us to pause, reflect, and respond rather than react, allowing us to regain control over our actions. When we manage our emotions well, our decision-making, whether financial, relational, or personal, becomes more grounded and rational. Financial discipline is another pillar of holistic self-control that interacts with our moods and thoughts. Often, financial problems are not due to lack of resources alone, but stem from poor habits, emotional spending, or distorted beliefs about money. When we learn to manage our money with intention and patience, we reduce financial stress, which in turn creates mental peace and emotional stability. Financial security also empowers us to make decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, fostering generosity, confidence, and purpose. At the core of all these domains is the mind. The mind, as the generator of thoughts and perceptions, sets the tone for our emotions, behaviors, and choices. When the mind is cluttered, restless, or trapped in negative thinking patterns, it becomes challenging to manage speech, emotions, or finances effectively. Training the mind through practices like mindfulness, meditation, and cognitive reframing allows us to cultivate clarity, focus, and resilience. A disciplined mind is the foundation upon which all other forms of self-control rest. Holistic self-control also promotes the idea of feedback loops between these areas. Positive change in one area often spills over into others. For instance, when we control our spending and build financial stability, we experience less anxiety, leading to improved mood and clearer thinking. Similarly, practicing mindful speech can calm emotional storms, bringing serenity to the mind. This interplay shows that self-control is not fragmented but holistic, each aspect reinforcing and supporting the others. Moreover, holistic self-control encourages us to adopt a balanced approach to self-discipline. Over-controlling or rigidly restricting ourselves in one area can lead to burnout or rebellion in another. For example, extreme frugality without understanding the emotional needs behind spending may lead to frustration or emotional suppression. True self-control comes from balance, allowing for enjoyment, rest, and flexibility while maintaining conscious awareness of our actions and their consequences. Ultimately, holistic self-control is a path of self-mastery and self-compassion. It is about becoming the conscious driver of our lives rather than being led by unconscious patterns, emotional impulses, or external pressures. It requires continuous practice, reflection, and adjustment as we learn and grow. By integrating the control of mouth, mood, money, and mind into a harmonious practice, we create a life of inner stability, external harmony, and aligned purpose. In conclusion, holistic self-control is the art of bringing together various aspects of our being into a cohesive, balanced approach to living. It acknowledges the interconnectedness of our thoughts, feelings, speech, and financial habits, urging us to cultivate awareness and responsibility across all these domains. When we practice holistic self-control, we build a solid foundation for personal growth, harmonious relationships, and a life lived with clarity, wisdom, and fulfillment. Personal transformation is not the result of isolated efforts in singular areas of life, but rather the outcome of integrated discipline across multiple facets of our existence. True and lasting change occurs when we recognize that our speech, emotions, finances, and thought processes are deeply interconnected, each playing a crucial role in shaping the person we become. Integrated discipline is the conscious, harmonious alignment of these areas, creating a strong foundation for personal growth, fulfillment, and purpose-driven living. When individuals begin to approach self-control as a holistic practice, they initiate a process of inner refinement. This process starts with awareness, an honest, compassionate observation of our current behaviors, patterns, and tendencies. Without awareness, attempts at transformation become superficial or temporary, as the root causes of undesired habits remain unaddressed. Awareness allows us to see how unfiltered speech might stem from unresolved emotional triggers, or how reckless spending might be a coping mechanism for deeper mental unrest. This insight empowers us to work at the source rather than merely managing symptoms. Integrated discipline also involves the recognition that small, consistent efforts in one area can have ripple effects across all domains of life. For instance, cultivating mindful speech not only improves our communication, but also sharpens our awareness of our thoughts and feelings before they find verbal expression. This practice naturally encourages emotional regulation, which in turn supports better decision-making in financial matters. The discipline of controlling the mouth becomes a gateway to emotional mastery, financial wisdom, and mental clarity. Similarly, emotional discipline is transformative because emotions are powerful drivers of behavior. Left unchecked, emotions such as anger, jealousy, fear, or sadness can derail our best intentions, leading to harmful speech, impulsive spending, or negative self-talk. By learning to pause, observe, and process our emotions without acting on them immediately, we cultivate the space between stimulus and response. This space is where wisdom resides, the space that allows us to choose our words carefully, spend our money wisely, and guide our minds toward constructive thoughts rather than destructive ones. Financial discipline, often viewed in isolation as budgeting or saving, becomes far more impactful when integrated into the broader practice of self-mastery. It reflects our ability to delay gratification, prioritize long-term goals over short-term desires, and act from a place of intention rather than impulse. When we manage our money with mindfulness, we create a sense of security and freedom that enhances our emotional stability and mental peace. Financial discipline teaches us patience, foresight, and responsibility, qualities that ripple into every other aspect of our lives. At the core of integrated discipline lies the mastery of the mind. The mind is the seat of all thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions, and it is from the mind that all behaviors originate. A disciplined mind is not one that suppresses thoughts, but one that guides them skillfully, questioning limiting beliefs, challenging negative narratives, and choosing empowering perspectives. Mental discipline strengthens our emotional resilience, sharpens our focus, and enables us to navigate life's complexities with composure and clarity. What makes integrated discipline so powerful is that it fosters a sense of internal alignment. When our speech, emotions, finances, and thoughts are in harmony, we experience less inner conflict and more congruence between who we are and how we act in the world. This alignment builds authenticity, integrity, and self-confidence as we begin to trust ourselves to act in ways that reflect our highest values and aspirations. Moreover, integrated discipline supports personal transformation by promoting self-compassion and balance. It recognizes that discipline is not about harsh self-criticism or extreme restrictions, but about making conscious, value-aligned choices in a sustainable and compassionate manner. It allows space for mistakes, learning, and growth without falling into guilt or defeat. This balanced approach encourages perseverance, knowing that transformation is a journey of continuous refinement rather than an overnight achievement. Personal transformation through integrated discipline also enhances our relationships and contributions to the world. As we master our speech, we become better communicators. As we manage our emotions, we foster empathy and understanding. As we handle our finances wisely, we become generous and resourceful. As we discipline our minds, we become centered and intentional. This creates a ripple effect of positive influence, inspiring others to embark on their own journey of holistic self-mastery. In conclusion, personal transformation is most powerful and enduring when approached through the lens of integrated discipline. By harmonizing the control of our mouth, mood, money, and mind, we create an inner ecosystem of balance, strength, and clarity. This integration not only transforms our individual lives, but also elevates the way we show up in our relationships, careers, and communities. Integrated discipline is the bridge between who we are today and the person we aspire to become. A person of wisdom, purpose, and authentic self-mastery.